And the message of this is not to, because Bill Maher, first of all, I totally agree. He's totally in the right to do it. And I loved his monologue. But this isn't about that dinner. It's about the next one, because this is the modern left. It's an attempt always to intimidate people into not ever doing it again. It's to silence yourselves, or we'll do it for you. That's the purpose of this op-ed, so that the next comedian or the next person on the American left chooses not to speak to Donald Trump. This is all an effort to get people not to do what you just said, which is to talk to each other in our political.
That CNN black sheep, Scott Jennings, wasted no time calling out occasional funny man and progressive puppet Larry David for throwing a tantrum and publicly attacking Bill Maher for having the audacity to meet with President Trump at the White House. Jennings didn't hold back. He made it clear this wasn't just about dinner. It was a warning shot from the modern left, a loud and calculated attempt to intimidate anyone else from even thinking about talking to Trump. Because let's be honest, this has nothing to do with that one conversation. The outrage from David and his ilk is about sending a message, fall in line, or we'll come after you too. The whole purpose of his melodramatic op-ed was to make sure the next entertainer, the next commentator, the next vaguely left-leaning public figure doesn't even consider breaking ranks. It's not about debate, dialogue, or decency. It's about silencing and conformity. Jennings saw it for what it was, an effort to blacklist thought, not challenge it. And the irony, Bill Maher didn't even flip sides. He simply sat at the table with someone he disagreed with, something that used to be the bare minimum standard for political discourse. Now, it's treated like betrayal. The left's hysteria over this dinner shows just how far they've drifted from anything resembling free thought. By labeling a basic conversation with a sitting president as taboo, they're drawing hard lines in the sand that even their own can't cross without getting smeared. And all it took for the knives to come out was a dinner between two adults willing to speak face to face. That's the state of modern progressivism, more obsessed with purity tests than persuasion.
So MAGA fans, don't worry. Your boy gave me nothing. Just hats. Hats and a very generous amount of time and a willingness to listen and accept me as a possible friend, even though I'm not MAGA, which was the point of the dinner. My favorite part of the whole night was, and he said, you know, I've heard from a lot of people who really like that we're having this dinner. Not all, but a lot. And I said, same. A lot of people told me they loved it, but not all. And we agreed. The people who don't even want us to talk, we don't like you. Don't talk. As opposed to what? Writing the same editorial for the millionth time and making 25-hour speeches into the wind? Really, that's what liberals have? He takes the piss out of everybody else and we can hold ours? Okay, that's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar. Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know, and I can't answer, and it's not my place to answer. I'm just telling you what I saw, and I wasn't high.
Honestly, I can't think of a more perfect example of how out-of-touch elites are than Larry David clinging to his fading relevance by ranting in the New York Times. Again, it's the same tired comparison to Trump that's been done to death. While David rehashed old outrage, Maher actually did something productive. He sat down with Charlie Kirk and tried to have a real conversation. Instead of lecturing from a pedestal, he opened the door to dialogue between two sides that barely talk anymore.
We're on different planets, obviously, on the spiritual religious stuff. But when you spoke against the woke, that for me was a proving moment. And I have to say something, and this is 100% true. You had more moral courage than pastors that I know that went along with the woke crazy train. And you deserve credit for that because it was of high cost.
Until we get rid of that, they're never going to win another election.
I agree. They're not going to take political advice from me.
No, but they might from me.
They could.
And
they should.
Not the 10%, but that's 10%.
But they're very loud.
They're very loud, but that's it. And I, you know, as FDR once said, I welcome their hatred because they're just, first of all, they have no integrity. They don't ever present the full argument. They just cherry pick. I mean, everybody does it to everybody. So I'm not saying I'm unique here. But that is part of the problem of our discourse is that everybody just wants to forward their narrative. No one is really interested in the full truth. Just the truth. Just give me the truth. And that's the crowd I'm going for.
The funny thing is, progressives are accidentally forcing the left and right to talk again. By being so extreme, they've made people from both sides find common ground. If the radical left hadn't gone completely off the rails, there wouldn't even be space for this kind of dialogue. Their obsession with purity tests and canceling anyone who blinks wrong has backfired. It pushed Trump to form a coalition that includes disillusioned liberals, independents, and voters who never used to touch Republican ballots. It's ironic, but their chaos helped build his base.
Different jihadis that want to kill me, the purple-haired jihadis, the woke guys.
Well, they kill me. They want to kill me just as bad.
Probably.
Oh, they really do.
No, you've been very outspoken on the woke stuff. Big time.
Oh, yes. I mean, and they, just the way within a religion, they hate their own apostates more. I would say they hate me more because I'm supposed to like get on the short bus to Crazy Town with them, and I won't. And yet I'm still a liberal and still like, you know, I mean, we probably could argue all day about Donald Trump and what he's doing, which I'm not down with. But, you know, it's always the people who are closest who think, oh, gosh, you shouldn't have, you're a traitor somehow.
I was going to ask, is it because they thought you were one of them and that...
I am one of them. They're not one of me. Okay. It's the liberals who have...
So they've left you, not you left.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's... Liberal and woke are two completely different things. It was a theme of my last stand-up special that I just did a few months ago. And it's basically... I mean, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but it was a large part of it devoted to that, to proving that case that, you know, what liberals believe, woke is something completely different. It's very often the opposite of it. You know, liberalism is, let's live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. Woke's goal is we see race everywhere.
Race obsession.
Yes. Okay. So that's not liberal. You change. Liberal is there a two-state solution. Woke is river to the sea. Okay. So just don't take my word and say you're that. You took this and took it to... You got off the F train, you fell asleep, and you got off the 20 stops too far, and don't blame me for that.
You know, I've said it before, I don't agree with Ma on everything. And frankly, I think he's opportunistic a lot of the time. But even with that said, there's still value in what he's doing right now. It's a reflection of a cultural shift that's happening across the country, one that really picked up steam after Trump's recent win. It's forcing liberals to confront the consequences of their own extremism, and like Charlie Kirk pointed out, for all of Ma's contradictions, he's had more guts than many so-called conservatives, especially when it actually mattered and came at a cost. And what's encouraging is that we're seeing more people choosing to have real conversations instead of just throwing grenades from their corners. That's something most Americans have been starving for. They don't need everyone to agree on everything. They just want basic decency restored. They want to be able to disagree politically without being demonized. To go back to a time when differences didn't mean disconnection. You know, back before the Obama era shift, when every issue started becoming a moral purity test. Because what we're dealing with now is a nation still burning from cultural division, fueled by years of identity politics, cancel mobs, and media gaslighting. And if figures like Ma, however flawed, are willing to help put that fire out by reaching across and saying, hey, maybe we're still allowed to talk, that's something we can at least work with. Because right now, it's not about who's perfect, it's about who's brave enough to start fixing what's broken. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.